much. It's a great pleasure to be with you today to consider of links. And what I want to do is to create an informal conversation about the future. And I'm for the next 45 to 50 minutes, after which the floor is yours. Because it is not my views of the future, it's your view of the future. I'm going to share some personal insights. I don't necessarily believe everything I'm going to say. My purpose is to provoke us to think freshly. I work with many of the boards and senior teams of the largest multinationals. It could be, and with their clients as well. It could be Google one day, Microsoft the next, Hewlett-Packard, ExxonMobil, BP, Shell, DHL, FedEx, whoever. And with every company, there is the same issue. It's perhaps one of the greatest risks in any institution. And the risk? The risk is that we find ourselves surrounded by people who have been in the same industry for quite a while, and we begin to develop what we call institutional blindness. And it's a possibility. Put your hands up if you have been inside this community for more than 3 years. More than 3 years. Okay. More than 5 years. More than 7 years. And more than 10 years. Okay. Now, most psychologists would say that when we change job, we move from one organization to another. Often, we are our sharpest understanding, our sharpest insight in the first 6 weeks. And then after that, we gradually become part of the system. Okay. So what I'm going to do, as someone who's outside of your industry, is to try to provoke some fresh thinking. I'm in your industry, you know much more about it than I do. So, but here goes. You know, the future is full of uncertainties. And for EasyJet or for DHL, I think that it's just unlucky. Is that there's a lot of things around in our world that are to us. It'd be so unlikely. It's likely that we don't even consider it. But because of such wild cards inside your business, in fact, in one client, multinational giants that you handle the supply chain for, in one of them, there are wild cards. In fact, I can tell you that clients would consider each other to be a wild card. Because risks, it's something will happen one day, and something starts to go wrong, perhaps with your computer systems or your communication, or something happens. Not once in 100 years. That's a wild card risk. 1% per risk, 1% per year risk is a wild card risk. But the trouble is, for my clients, for you too, there are hundreds of these risks, which means that the chances of one of these things happening to them in a 3-month period is actually quite high. Well, the subprime crisis, for example, is a typical wild card risk. It's a relatively low probability event, apparently according to the banks, but it started to go wrong. In fact, I can tell you that there are hundreds of other complex financial instruments that have been created, particularly connected with hedge funds, which could also have gone off, and which still could. It's a world which is uncertain. We have seen recently, when there's an area of the economy, they trigger unrelated consequences elsewhere. And it's of managing our future. This is one strategy. The strategy for a post or Shell is coming to an end. Why? Because it changes faster than you can up a strategy. It changes faster than you can even hold a board meeting. So we are required to have a strategy, a plan A. We have plan C as well. You know how quickly these things can happen in terms of a new budget or an acquisition or whatever. Some are examples of potentially disruptive events which come crashing in to affect us, especially in logistics and distribution. And it is an unexpected opportunity for someone who's well prepared, as well as being a logistical challenge.